if Alan came down and then we had another alien come down and his name was, let's say, Brandon, and then we had a third alien come down and his name was Trevor, and we all of them decided to pray to come to their conclusion. Do you think one might end up a Hindu, one might end up a Muslim, and one might end up a Christian?
Yeah, I do think that if there were like a bunch of aliens that came down here, they transitioned to a bunch of religions.
Yeah. I guess if these aliens can come down and one can go this direction and one can believe this is true and this one was a Muslim Christian, if they can come to so many different conclusions, what does
Yeah.
that say about the method, the use of prayer? Is that a good way to figure out what is true then if they can come to different conclusions?
Hi.
Hello. How's it going?
Uh, It's good. You?
Doing pretty good, inviting
It's
people
Friday.
up, having chats. It's Friday. Tomorrow my daughter's got a little soccer practice, like the first one. She's really young, so it's not anything too serious, but I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, my day is going pretty good. It's Friday. Work week's over. Got plans with my wife after this to play some Final Fantasy 11. So yeah, I got a good day going here, I think.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I guess I wanted to talk about abortion and kind of how I came to the Christian faith. I
Okay.
don't know where I should really start first, but
Are these two
yeah.
concepts connected?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start out with how they're connected.
Okay. So I think how I came to Christianity when I was younger, like I didn't really take the Bible seriously or God seriously at all. I kind of just went to church because my parents did. And I think like cuz I'm on social media a lot and I notice a lot of people who have been committing blasphemy and it's just getting honestly just getting bigger. Like it's just growing. People are doing it more. And the thing is, I asked myself, like, why would people make fun of somebody who is not real? Like, it just doesn't make sense. People don't make fun of the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus that much, as much as they do God. And
Yeah. Well, why do you think they would make fun of something that they don't believe in? What motivation, what underlying motivation do you think there might be?
I feel like they know that God exists, but I think they just don't really know where to start. Like, they're confused.
Hmm.
Or they don't know, like, what faith to really take in.
That's
Uh,
one possibility. Are there any other possibilities?
Um, I do really feel like a lot of people in the industry do worship Satan, and they do this because
Another possibility.
mm,
Is there a
uh,
third option?
not right now, no.
Hmm.
Umbra, let me ask you a hypothetical. Let's say we have a hypothetical different world where nobody believes in God, but lots and lots of people believe in leprechauns.
Mhm.
And some of those people use their belief in leprechauns to push legislation in their countries. Do you think that people who don't believe in leprechauns might speak out against that in that world?
Mm. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Because I
Sure,
literally just
sure.
forgot everything. I'm so
No, no
sorry.
worries, no worries. I'm drawing a comparison between our world now and some other
Mhm.
hypothetical world because you made the comment that you're not sure why people speak out against God or are upset against God. I think is the way you put it. And you're not
Mhm.
quite sure why people would do that, and that must point to evidence that this God is real. And I'm proposing a hypothetical other world where instead of God, people believe in leprechauns, and they're pushing legislation through in their countries based on their leprechaun belief. For instance, legislation that says nobody should be allowed to have a pot of gold in their house because the leprechauns demand it. People who don't believe in leprechauns in that world, do you think that they would speak out against the belief in leprechauns because perhaps they don't like legislation being created and pushed on them for something they don't believe in?
I do think it is wrong to force beliefs upon other people. I think
I agree.
belief just comes naturally.
I agree.
Um,
The point of my question though is
yeah,
when you
sorry.
look at our worlds and you wonder why do people speak out against God, the belief in a God, certain religions, maybe they have the same reason that the people in the leprechaun universe also have. They don't like the negative effects it has on the world they see. They don't like the legislation being pushed on them for beliefs that they don't hold. Like, can you kind of see the comparison there and kind of maybe better understand why people in our world speak out against religious beliefs?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Continue on, I suppose. You were talking about the connection between abortion and your belief in Christianity, I believe.
Yeah, so I live in like the United States, probably like you guys do, and I feel like the system or like the American system has always been prejudiced against women and their rights to do what they please. So I think in some cases, still, even after reading the Bible a bit, that abortion can be justified in some cases. Even though the Bible says that life begins at first breath.
Life begins at first breath. Okay.
Would that mean that, if I'm understanding correctly, if the Bible were to say that life begins at first breath, that would mean abortion is okay at any time? Is that the conclusion we should come to?
No, not at any time. I think at some
Okay.
point, like if a woman is having unprotected sex, like consistently and especially consensually, then she should take responsibility at some point.
Okay.
And at least, have the child and possibly put them into adoption. But what I think I'm trying to get at is like because like I feel like this country that has such like a poor foster care system that like it could be justified because they don't want their child to be put in that spot. I think if
Okay.
adoption or if the foster care was much better, I think I'd be much more anti-abortion.
Okay. Gotcha. If you don't mind me asking, and you don't have to share if you're not comfortable, but what is your stance on abortion?
I would say before even becoming a Christian, I was totally supportive of it, but I'm kind of in between like both where it's okay and sometimes it's not okay. I
Okay, so
don't
maybe
know how to really.
like circumstantial, like in
Yeah,
these circumstances it's okay, in these other circumstances it's not okay.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And with regards to this circumstantial stance that you take,
Hmm.
why and we're abortion is an important issue to you because you're up here talking about it.
Yeah.
Why is it important to you?
Just because like because I'm pretty feminist, I support women's rights and the ability for a woman to do the same thing a man does. So I think if what's it called? Men were able to have pregnancy and and they didn't want to care about their children, there'd be more Starbucks than there would be abortion clinics because men support men and I'm not saying this about all men, of course, but
Okay. I think I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Coming back to out of that hypothetical situation, so we got women's rights, and that's what is important about what you think about abortion. So that's kind of what's important. What is it about women's rights that makes this issue so important to you?
So also the Bible says that a woman should be submissive to her husband. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that is necessarily a bad thing. Of course it's not. It's God's word. But it's just like I can't really understand like why a woman can't be this provider or contribute the or at least like contribute the same things that a man does. I know that we're
Mm-hmm.
biologically different from men, but I don't feel like there are superiors. And sometimes when I read the Bible, maybe because I'm not really understanding what they're saying, that's how I feel that men are
Hmm.
these superior.
Gotcha. So you believe that both sexes, men, women, that they are equal and are capable of the same things and should be treated in the same way
Yeah.
with dignity, I would assume. Yeah. And then you read the Bible and you read some of these passages that are kind of putting men above women, saying men are better than women, or
I think
women.
that's what I think that's how I'm understanding it. Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly.
Hmm, okay.
That's my thing.
Okay. Gotcha. And currently, it sounds like you like to read the Bible. I would assume you believe the Bible is true.
Yeah, I honestly think it's the only way. But I
Okay.
will admit that there are some things I can do to better my faith, like reading the Bible more.
Hmm. Okay.
I did
So
start off by praying, and it really did help me. Like, I remember praying just for like a few nights straight, and I woke up one day, and I thought I heard God's voice, and I was just thinking about it, like, so God is really real, like He'll really talk to us and stuff like that. So that's when I started reading my Bible and I started praying more.
Would you say that that event boosted your confidence that the Bible
Yeah.
is true?
Mhm.
hmm. If
But
you
Uh,
had
if
to,
I just still have doubt. That's all I'm saying.
all right, so you have so I guess from let's say from 0 to 100%, where's your confidence level that the Bible is true from 0 to 100, with
Mm,
0 having no confidence and 100 being absolutely confident?
I'd say like I'm at 100 when I'm reading the Bible, but when I start to lose faith, like when I stop reading and I stop praying, it goes down to like maybe like the 50s.
Okay. So when you're reading the Bible, it goes up, and when you're not reading the Bible for a while, it goes down to 50%. Why do you think there's
Mhm.
such a wild fluctuation between your 2 confidence levels depending on what you're doing at the time?
I think when reading the Bible, it gives people an opportunity to learn more about God and like have more of a relationship with him because it shows how much we really care about his word
Okay.
and everything and just having a relationship with him.
Um, are you concerned with are you do you wanna know whether the Bible is actually true or not? Like, do you wanna have a method to find out whether what you're reading is actually true?
I
Or
know it's true. It's just that sometimes I doubt some of the pages that are in here.
so I don't question that you believe it's true or even know it's true. I'm
Mhm.
asking, would you want to have a method by which to justify that statement? Because I can say, for instance, I can say, I know the Quran is true because when I read it,
Yeah.
my confidence spikes when I read the Quran. I imagine
Yeah.
you as a Christian wouldn't accept that as a viable method for determining whether the Quran is actually true or not. And a Muslim hearing that from you for about the Bible would equally reject that method.
Mm-hmm.
So are you concerned with the method that you're using and whether that method's actually effective or not?
Honestly, no, I'm not concerned.
You're not concerned.
I,
So you're not concerned with the
I
method. Are you concerned that it's actually true or not?
well, no, because I truly believe in it. So,
So
I mean,
it, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So I think if someone reads the Quran, and I think that if someone is as confident, if not more confident than I am in their faith, then I feel like that's okay.
But let's say you as a Christian believe that I'm not if I'm wrong in your position on this, please correct me. I'm just going with just general Christian theology. But I think you as a Christian, if you were to follow what the Bible says, non-believers are going to be punished, right? So would that not
Yeah,
concern you with that Muslim and whether that Muslim's using a robust methodology to determine whether the Quran's true or false? Because
it would concern me, but
yeah.
also you can't really I can't really change everybody. I can't really change their belief.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
not
can go out and say like, "Oh, I truly believe in the Bible. I think you should um condone in it." But I mean, I'm not saying that people who don't believe in the Bible are like bad people because they're
oh
really
yeah.
not.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm not at all saying that's what you're saying.
it's just
The go ahead. Go ahead and finish up.
yeah, it's just that I mean, I might disagree with them, but I still believe that like we could live in peace with that.
Okay. Uh, so the question I asked earlier was whether you're concerned with the methodology you're using is robust or not in determining truth. And then I asked, and you said you weren't. And then I asked you whether you're concerned whether the Bible is actually true or not. And I believe you said you still weren't. But then we just brought up the whole issue of competing religions and the punishments in afterlife that might be waiting for us if one of these religions is true. And then you did
Hmm.
express concern over it. Um, do you think that maybe you actually do have some concern whether or not the Bible's true, some concern whether or not the Quran is true and any other holy book? Like, isn't there even just like a sliver of concern there? Because one of those just might be true. There might be
Yeah,
some afterlife
maybe
there waiting for you.
maybe some of maybe some of the pages might not be true. So I guess that would kind of
Okay.
contradict what I said earlier.
Okay.
I'm wondering, so like some of the pages, some of the pieces of the Bible might be true, some of the pieces might be untrue. I'm wondering how we can figure out which pieces might be true and which pieces might be false.
That
So
kind of
I feel like sometimes I just don't like when I'm being told sometimes. Like if I'm being told that I should be submissive to my husband and all that, maybe I wouldn't like it because I'm a woman, but I could also say like that I believe that Noah went on the ark and he traveled across the world to save us, to save humanity.
could could somebody like what they're reading? It could be any book. Could somebody like what they're
Yeah.
reading and what they're reading actually be false?
Um, like, are you saying it its entirety or just some of it?
Just a sentence. Just boil it down to just a single sentence. Like, can somebody read a sentence and they go, I like that. But that sentence is actually stating something that's false. Like, is that possible?
I think it is, yeah.
All right. And then inversely, can somebody read a sentence and go, I don't like that? And that sentence be true?
Yeah.
Okay. So does it stand to reason that our emotional reactions at what we read has no bearing over whether it's true or not?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like I'm very selective and I'm taking things that I like about the Bible into consideration, or into like, or I tend to like enjoy them more, but the parts that I don't like, I'm like really against, and it
Okay.
kind of decreases my faith.
So you read the Bible. There's sentences in the Bible that you like and sentences in the Bible you don't like. And I think
Mhm.
we both just agreed that that emotional reaction to what you're reading doesn't tell us at all whether that sentence is true or not.
Yeah.
Can you think of any other way to determine whether what you're reading is actually true or not?
I'd say just based on my surroundings and how other people might act.
How other people might act. Can you give me an example?
Um, so the Bible talks a lot about like non or false prophets who may come to Christians and
Okay.
try to get these Christians to sin, do bad behavior and whatever. But sorry, I'm like kind
No
of
worries.
nervous.
No worries. No pressure here. So the whole point of the exercise that Pierce and I are going through with you is to get you to reflect and think. So if there's going to be pauses and you're sorting thoughts out, that's totally by design. We want to hear that happening. So yeah, take your time with any of your answers.
And but like the Bible also says that women are like as precious as rubies, which I'm like totally for, because I really do believe that women are like this really like I think I just fell off track. I'm so sorry.
No worries. No worries. Uh, uh,
But
Going back to kind of the core of the questions here is we're asking you where are you getting your confidence that the Bible is true? Do you think that
also
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm like actually so sorry.
No worries.
I think I get my confidence again from Christians on social media. Like when I come here to this channel, I talk to a lot of Christians about the Bible and just about their opinion. And I think that's a great experience for me because I get to learn more about what other Christians believe and why some things are okay, why some things are not according to the Bible.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Well, I have a whole thought experiment for you. So,
Yeah.
I got a buddy. His name's Alan. He's a great guy. If you met
Mhm.
him, you'd really like him. He's actually not a human being. He's from outer space. He just arrived here. Okay. He doesn't know anything about humans, human culture, human religions. Fresh slate, clean slate. Never been here before. First time. Just gets out of a spaceship.
Mhm.
Here's us talking, and you're talking about Christianity in the Bible, and coming on to social media and this Discord server. You're talking with other Christians, and
Mhm.
he's like, I want to figure this out. I want to know if Christianity is true. I want to know if Hinduism is true. I think he might have heard Eric say that earlier. He wants to know if Islam is true. He wants to know which one is true. Oh, how should he go about figuring that out? What's the best way for Alan to figure out which one is true?
I think he should read through the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, etc., and just find out which one he agrees with the most.
Okay, I'm a little confused by that, and maybe you can bring some clarity here. So earlier when you were talking to Eric, you said like people can read these sentences specifically and we can have like a reaction to them, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're true or false.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant like what they believe is best for them.
Okay, what they believe is best for them, is
What is
that
best for them to follow. Yeah.
uh, does that necessarily make it true?
Not in all
Yeah.
cases.
To
Okay.
kind of add some flavor to what Pierce just said with the hypothetical, Alan the alien is not concerned with what sounds best to him. He's concerned with what's true. He wants to sort out truth from falsehoods. So he's kind of uh, divorced from emotional influences on that, divorced from preference. He just wants objective. This is true. This is not true. That's his goal. So,
Mhm.
so when Alan asks you, Umbra, I want to know which one of these religions is true, if any. What would you recommend he do?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I could really give like the best perspective just because I started out by praying and not reading the Bible. So I mean, I could say that prayer would help you.
Mhm. How would prayer help Alan determine which one of these religions is true?
Mm, I think just talking to God, putting your feelings out there, and I feel like that also comes with like trusting your gut with
Mhm.
with I
Would
guess
it
like
a-
who's talking to you and what they're trying to say to you.
you think if Alan came down and then we had another alien come down and his name was, let's say, Brandon, and then we had a third alien come down and his name was Trevor, and we all of them decided to pray to come to their conclusion. Do you think one might end up a Hindu, one might end up a Muslim, and one might end up a Christian?
Yeah, I do think that if there were like a bunch of aliens that came down here, they transitioned to a bunch of religions.
Yeah. I guess if these aliens can come down and one can go this direction and one can believe this is true, and this one was a Muslim Christian, if they can come to so many different conclusions, what does
Yeah.
that say about the method, the use of prayer? Is that a good way to figure out what is true then, if they can come to different conclusions?
Mm, I'm not. Yeah. Now that not I remember, maybe not truth, but maybe it's just like their truth and like just their personal belief. Like how
Hmm.
they think this religion is possibly gonna help them. Like what are they gonna take from it? And how can they use this to like possibly benefit their life?
So
When people
I mentioned earlier that their objective, they're seeking objective truth. So with objective truth, there is no your truth, my truth. There's just truth, right? Like
Mhm.
we live in a world together. I'm holding a pen here. Um, there's no your truth of whether I'm holding this pen or not. I am holding this pen or not based on the condition of reality. So that's kind of what we're getting at there is that these aliens, mainly Alan, they're looking for truth on this. So when you say, well,
Yeah.
you need to pray and seek your own truth, um, Alan can simply say, well, my own truth might not reflect reality. Because if Alan, one alien, and Trevor, the other alien, they adopt personal truths, and one of their personal truths is Eric is holding a pen, and the other one's personal truth there is Eric is not holding a pen. One of them is wrong. So the
Yeah.
methodology they use to get to those positions is flawed. It's not reliable.
I think
Would you
yeah.
agree?
I think the absolute truth is that we won't really find out until the end, like which religion might be right and which religion might not be right.
if we won't find out till like the very end, what should we think now? What should we believe until then?
Mm, what should people believe for now? That's a good question. I don't really know like what to really say about that because as a Christian, I believe that you can find God right now, like you can find Jesus right now. I'm not sure what people. I mean, I feel like as a Christian, I feel like I wish everyone believed kind of what I believe, but if so they can avoid eternal damnation and then have salvation. But of course, like I said, I can't really force that upon people. I can only hope that they might convert.
So you mentioned that you have a motivation. You want other people to adopt Christianity because you want them to avoid eternal damnation. So let's
Just because
say,
that,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Let's say you're telling that to Alan the alien. Alan, I really want you to believe Christianity so you can avoid eternal damnation. But then you have a Muslim right there and saying, Alan, I really want you to adopt Islam so you can avoid eternal damnation. So he's experiencing both of these claims and motivations from two different sources, and they directly conflict because the Muslim is saying, no, the Christian's wrong. You'll be damned if you believe Christianity. And the Christian's saying, no, the Muslim's wrong. You'll be damned if you adopt Islam. Does Alan have anything that he can use, a process, a method to determine who's right and who's wrong? Or maybe they're both wrong. Is there anything he can do?
Now that you say it, I don't know how to really answer that question.
It's fair enough. Do you think it's an important question to answer?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think
Let's
that this?
I'm sorry, Pierce. Let me maybe lower the stakes a little bit. Maybe we can see if there's other processes we can use. So let's say instead of asking about a God belief, let's say, Umbra, you were approached by two people, and one of them says, Umbra, if you give me your social security number right now, I will transfer $100,000 to your bank account. And then the
Mm-hmm.
other person says, Umbra, don't do that. If you give him your social security number, he's going to withdraw $10,000 out of your bank account. How would you go about figuring out who's right and who's wrong there?
Well, the guy who would be offering me money to share my social security number, I feel like I'd have to know more information about him, like his
Okay,
background and what he stands for and all that type of stuff.
that's a good start.
I
So
don't,
you would ask about the
yeah,
background and the history of the person making the offer.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you think of anything else?
And the guy who said don't, I would hope I would know that person just because I think if I knew that person who's telling me not to do it, I hope that person was wishing the best for me and wasn't trying to prevent me from possibly getting $100,000 for doing so.
Yeah. Yeah. You would want to maybe understand the motivations behind both people, right? Not necessarily just their background, but what both
Yeah.
of them want.
Mhm.
Because it could be possible that the person telling you not to do it doesn't want you to get that money. Maybe the person offering the
Yeah.
money is correct, and he's telling you the truth, but the person who's telling you not to do it has some motivation to keep you poor,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, figuring out motivations is a good way to do it. So, analyzing history, figuring out motivations. Is there a third thing maybe we can look at?
Not off the top of my head that I can really think of
All
now.
right. Well, we'll take the two. It's
But
right there. But
okay.
you right there laid out a process of investigation, evidence collecting, and then evaluation of that evidence. That's a process. That's a
Yeah.
methodology.
Mhm.
So going back to the claims about which religion is true, could you perhaps take that methodology that you just used for the money offer and apply it to the religious claims?
Yeah, I feel like you could. I just didn't think about it like that before, so that's my
No,
bad.
there's no bad here. This is all about reflections and stuff like that. So, okay, great. Thanks for answering those questions. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I don't think I have any more questions, but Umbra, if you have any questions for us, now would be the time to ask if you want.
I don't think I really do. I feel like I know what I need to do to really increase my faith and be absolutely sure with having no doubt in my mind that Christ is the way. That's something I can only help myself with.
What is that?
Oh, just by reading the Bible and everything. I feel like no one can force me to get closer to God. That's something I must do myself. That or like I mean like I know we just had this talk and everything, but it's just something I strongly believe in. So I'm gonna just
Is there
kind of
is there a possibility? I'll ask this last question because is there a possibility that the God that you're striving towards doesn't exist, and maybe some other God is real God?
I feel like the way believe I feel like the way I believe my love for God in many cases is right, is good for me to have. But it is possible that some pages in the Bible could be false.
All right.
I said I didn't have any more questions, but I'm gonna ask one last one. So remember Alan, right? So if he came down and then we meet back up in, I don't know, let's say 6 months, and we start having a conversation, it was a lot like the one that we had today, you and I. And Alan comes over to my place and we start to chat, and he says, "Yeah, I believe in Hinduism because I read, the Vedas, and I came really close to my gods, and that's really the way that I get closer to them." And you know, could he be mistaken by that? Could Alan be incorrect?
I feel like maybe he could.
Huh? Could you be mistaken also?
This is just me speaking here, just
Mhm.
because I've read the Bible so much. I don't feel like I could really resort to any other religion. Like this is like what I'm sticking to. I admit, like I know I can be a little stubborn and everything, but I'm comfortable with my faith in Christ. That's just me. I'm not trying to like disrespect and you guys. I hope I'm not being rude.
Not at all.
That's
No,
just
no.
how. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was really my last question now, but I appreciate you coming up. I appreciate you talking to us, and yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks,
Yeah.
Umbra.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.